Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
Good job.
At the break of dawn, in the middle of the Arizona desert, a crowd of strangers meet for one purpose.
You guys coming out here to help me out, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
To help another stranger, a father desperately searching for his 24-year-old son, Daniel Robinson.
Since he was a child, he liked to challenge everything.
He was born with a challenge.
And I wanted to introduce him to prosthetics because he's born one hand. We quickly learned that that's something that Daniel didn't want. He let nothing stop him. He decided to be a geologist once he got into freshman year in college. He excelled that, he graduated with honors.
Daniel's first job is checking the viability of water wells in the Arizona desert.
He loved this area, of course, because of the rock formation. You're a geologist, this is the best place to be.
But the terrain became a hellscape for his dad when Daniel went missing back in June from his job site. And what number search is this?
This is search number 14.
Navigating the dangers in the desert, the Army veteran knows firsthand time is of the essence.
When I called the Buckeye Police Department, they told me that I had to wait an extra 3 hours because they had a 12-hour, report time when you can say a person is missing. Then I called them back and put in the missing person report. I got very worried. That's when I got very worried. I asked the Buckeye Police Department to go out and search that area. The officer told me that they were going to send a vehicle out there, a helicopter out to search for him. I was relieved. And then he called back an hour later and said, no, it was a no-go. I'm his dad, and he's my son. I've lost all sense of reality. At that moment, I said, you know what? They're not going to look for my son. I'm going to have to do it myself.
Before he arrived, police did decide to search on foot and with helicopters. This is the last place your son was seen?
The last place.
What do you think happened, David?
I think a lot happened here. I'm very suspicious.
But he doesn't know what. A month in, there's a break in the case, and police call Robinson.
I got afraid, actually, that it's going to be some bad news. He said, no, we just found his vehicle.
Some ranchers found it, and then at that point, we conducted our investigation and additional searches.
What was the condition of the car? If it had rolled over, it sounds like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, the car was on its side. The sunroof was kicked out at that point, so he might have exited through the sunroof.
His wrecked car in a ravine, both airbags deployed, Daniel's cell phone, clothes he was wearing that day, and a case of water all found at the crash site. But not Daniel. People don't just disappear into thin air.
True.
Does that sort of feel like what's happened to here?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very challenging case.
No matter how much the family asks for this to be a criminal investigation, can you make that happen?
We can't make up evidence. Absolutely suspicious circumstances related to the case.
Frustrated and heartbroken, Robinson hired a private investigator. Where are we going?
Down here is where the vehicle was recovered from.
Is that the glass from the car?
Yes.
When you looked at this accident, what are the discrepancies that you noticed right away?
I believe it was in more than one collision.
What does the data from the black box of the car tell you?
That there was 11 additional miles on the vehicle since the airbags came out.
What does that tell you?
That tells me it was crashed somewhere else.
Does that sound suspicious? What explains that?
Well, we had the national expert that came in and provided us his findings, and then they ended up speaking to an expert at Jeep, and the expert says, yes, sometimes that happens, and it's not unusual.
But the data also shows someone tried to start the car 46 times after the crash.
That's something we can't explain.
It begs the question, again, the family is saying it's criminal. It's got to be he's in danger. Do something.
Right. No, I agree. But we need information. We need evidence.
He's got a lot of theories. His words, I think, were, I don't think they cared. What do you say to that?
Couldn't be furthest from the truth.
Losing hope, Robinson began pleading for media coverage.
It literally took 3 months.
While Robinson searched for his son, the country became riveted by media coverage of another missing persons case, the case of Gabby Petito.
In my situation, people think I love our children less or something, or they're less important.
In 2020, more than 543,000 missing persons records were filed. More than 480,000 were cleared. And 40% of the missing are people of color.
There are a lot of Gabby Petitos and Natalie Holloways in the Black and brown community.
That's why former police officer Derica Wilson co-founded Black and Missing Inc. and says too often their cases go untold. Eventually, local stations did stories and citizens began helping search. Did you know Daniel?
No, I just wanted to help.
You're just helping out a stranger on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I can't imagine what that man's going through.
As the search for Daniel goes into its 5th month, another family is in the midst of a terrible mystery for a 5th year. The family of Nikki and Ariana Fitz.
Ariana is very energetic, very happy.
2-year-old Ariana went missing under the most suspicious of circumstances in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2016. Her mother, Nikki Fitz, was found in a shallow grave in San Francisco's McLaren Park, but Ariana was gone.
It breaks my heart that Ariana's not with her mom and Ariana's not with her family, but it also breaks my heart even more is that I know that Nikki wants nothing more than Ariana to be with us, to be home.
Tessa Fitz says she is convinced her niece Ariana was taken by people close to Ariana's mother. San Francisco police searched for weeks. They had some leads, but no arrests. A digitally altered photo was made of what she may look like now.
And she's 8 now. I don't want to see this in a picture. I want to see her face in person.
Should Ariana Fitz be a household name like JonBenet Ramsey?
Absolutely. Why is her case any different from Kaylee Anthony? I can tell you, the color of their skin is the only difference.
For 5 desperate years, the family has continued searching using flyers, social media, and Black and Missing Inc.
Do you think it has anything to do with color?
I try not to put myself in the mindset of the race issue with her media coverage. All I want is for there to be the media coverage for her. I think she deserves that.
The Fitz and the Robinsons want only one thing, with hugging their missing children once again.
Do you think that Ariana is still alive?
I do believe that Ariana is still alive, and it would mean everything to me to know where she is and to find her. I wait for that day every single day. I believe that day will come.
How long will you search?
Till I find my son. I have to. I mean, he's my responsibility.
Sarah Seidner, CNN, Buckeye, Arizona.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search. mute. Hello, everyone. Dave Robinson here, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. Thanks so much for being here on this live stream. I just want to say up front, I have, I think last time as well as this time, I had a hard time getting Instagram on. I had to figure that part out. I tried to do it last week. So those who are used to being on Instagram side to watch my live streams, I will get that fixed eventually. But thank you for everyone who are able to come off the Facebook and also the Twitter, X, and also YouTube. I really appreciate you all for being here with me this evening. I'm not going to be here for long. I'm not going to have long. I always say that every time, and then I end up going 2 hours. But this time we'll try to be real short. But one thing I want to do is put out some information for those who haven't heard about my son's case. My goal is to do this every week to build back up on Daniel's platform, to get the word out, because, my son still remains missing. He went missing on June 23rd, 2021. He's still missing. I still need your help. I'm doing a lot of other things right now. So I really need your help even more so to keep his story alive, to give awareness, bring awareness to his case out there. Because your sharing his story means a lot. It can actually, much as you do it, it actually can find the right person or right persons who may know something or have an ability to help. So it's very important. So I'm really going to jump in the comment section real quick. And thank you all for being here. Mary Ellen, starting off for being here. I truly appreciate you here last week. Also, Terry, thank you so much for being here. That's right. Let's find Daniel. I really appreciate it. Your support from the Facebook side, and thanks so much. Also, I have Carrie. Thanks so much for being here. Hello to you, and Dep. Thanks so much for being here, Dep. I really appreciate you being here. You have, I think you've been here before, but thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone that's joining in on this live stream. I'm just going to jump straight on it. There's a couple things I want to talk about this time. Like I said, again, this is going to be something I'm doing every week to build up on my son's platform. But I also shared last week some recording that I recorded myself talking to law enforcement to try to give you guys a little idea of where things stood at the time when I had to just do everything myself, when I didn't have law enforcement support the way I should have had it. That caused me to go out to Arizona to travel those over 2,000 miles to get there, and in hopes to get my son like really quickly and immediately I think I mentioned last week about how Buckeye Police Department said they put a Firebird helicopter out there, through the Phoenix Fire Department, and the evidence that I have right now that it don't even exist. I think I also shared some things with you guys about the first search they had for my son. That was like 2 weeks after he went missing, utilizing the Civil Air Patrol, and those type things. But at the same time, it was one of the things that had stood out the most. Again, is the fact that Buckeye Police Department said they did the search and they did XYZ, but also they told on last week we talked about Ken, the last person that saw my son, saw my son before he went missing. So and Ken's side of the story and how that fit and relates to what law enforcement told me, for instance, and those things that's really problematic when it comes to his story. So I will be deep diving into that again, and it's not gonna be that tonight. But tonight I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about give you guys a little a clue of how the terrain is from where Daniel was living in Tempe, Arizona at the time, and where he went missing out in the Buckeye Sonoran Desert out there. So, and I will put the map up to show you those things. But I want to start off with, which I should have done today as well, is talk about some of the missing Americans out there. But I want to talk about the policies for families who are listening to my voice now, to know that if you ever have a missing loved one, or you have a missing loved one and you want to report, I've checked. I can't say I checked every police department in this country, but I checked a lot of policies, and 9 times out of 10, there is no policy, and it shouldn't be. And if there are some, those are things that we're going to have to really address, and we're going to have to really challenge and really get these departments on board. There's no policies out there that says a person had to wait even 5 minutes, even 2 minutes, not even 1 minute, or a couple seconds to report their loved one missing to law enforcement, right? And what we need, what I'm trying to say is we need to get away from assuming that we have to wait a certain level of time. Now I can tell you from experience, it's better if you go and rule things out first. And I don't think any family would do anything different from that. I mean, that's how we know our loved one is missing. Their patterns have been broken. They not in places they normally are at, right? For instance, or they haven't made that phone call, or they didn't make it to a destination, like I said. So it's a lot of indication. Then from that point, we call family members, we call friends, we go to places. We do all this due diligence first. That's just natural. Then we call law enforcement. When we say, hey, no, something's not right. We're sure. We really believe that loved one is missing, and then we go reach out to law enforcement. So it's not law enforcement's job to ever tell a loved one that they have to wait. It's not their job. It's not their job to tell a family they need to do due diligence first. Oh, you need to wait 24 hours and may come back. Or you need to wait 8 hours in my case, and they may come back. That's not law enforcement's job. So to determine that, their job is to take the report and act upon it. So again, I was going to put up this report or this policy real quick from the Buckeye Police Department. I'm going to do it in 2 ways. I'm going to make sure if you guys help me out this evening, let me know if you can see the screen really clearly. If you can't see it really clearly, you can't read these words, let me know, and then I'll put it on a different screen that may make it easier for you to see. So I'm looking at the comment section. You can see this really clear. It's okay for you. Give me some thumbs up, or yes, I can see it, or something to those effects, and I can go from there. And let's see here. Anybody have any issues seeing this document from the Buckeye Police Department? If you do, let me know. If you can see it, just give me a thumbs up, or let me know indication. That's in the chats. I'm asking you guys in the chats. Let me know that you can see this really clear before I go on with it. Okay, I believe that maybe you all can see this, but this is from the Buckeye Police Department. From the Buckeye Police Department, where, like I told you guys, they told me I had to wait 8 hours. I was 2 hours short of the 8 hours at the time. I didn't know the policies. I don't know Buckeye policies and things like that. But hindsight, I know their policies now. And like I said, just using this as a template for families to try to understand that, these policies do not have people waiting. So the missing person that the law enforcement Buckeye Police Department should have followed when they told me I had to wait those 8 hours. 332.2321. The purpose of the scope of this document, this policy manual. The purpose of this is this order is to establish guidelines for handling missing children, including runaways, abandonment, adopted, or other missing status, and adults, right? Definition, okay, we have the Amber Alert. We also have the non-family abduction, the family abduction. We have missing adults, and we have missing children, missing person at work, and runaway child. Civil alert, so all of these ways of things being reported. The policy, the Buckeye Police Department does not consider. Let me go back to the next one. I think I don't have this. Okay, you can see the policy there, everyone. Okay, everybody can see that, Mary Ellen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the thumbs up. The policy here, it says right here on the bottom, the 33.2, 332.3. We have the policy there. The Buckeye Police Department does not consider any report of a missing person, adult or children, to be routine, and assumes the missing person needs immediate assistance until the investigation reveals otherwise. The department gives missing person cases priority over property-related cases and does not require a specific amount of time to have passed before beginning a missing persons investigation. So that was very contradictory to what the Buckeye Police Department have, in Daniel's case, told me to sit around for 8 hours before I was able to report. So again, this is for the families to be aware of that. There's no such policies when law enforcement says these things. So I'm going to put it back up big, because if I put it on the smaller screen, you guys will not see this. And I think for the missing person procedures, we go down to that. It says the department will thoroughly investigate all reports of missing persons. Officers shall accept any report, including a by telephone report of a missing person, without delay, and shall not refuse to take a report for any reason. All reports of missing persons must be given full consideration and attention. Let me go to your next page on your screen here, so you guys can get that new attention by members of the department, to include careful recording and investigation of the circumstances surrounding the disappearance. Also, in situation involving a person whose primary resident is in another jurisdiction, the department shall promptly notify and forward the copy of the report to the agencies having jurisdiction over the missing person residence and where the missing person was last seen. And so that's if the person lived in a different city, like Daniel did. He lived in TNP at the time. And I can take it as Buckeye Police Department should have alerted the TNP Police Department, which they haven't. I initially spoke with that department first, and then after a failed attempt to get them to do a TNP Police Department to do a welfare check, they pushed it off the Buckeye Police Department. Then the day after, the Buckeye Police Department reached out to them to get them to do that report. So those things should have been done immediately. If a missing person is at high risk, the reports must also be forwarded within no more than 24 hours to the agency having responsibility for jurisdiction where the missing person was last seen. And at that point, he was last seen in Buckeye. The investigation should be coordinated as much as possible to avoid duplication of efforts and to ensure the most thorough investigation. And so what I'm saying is a lot of this, to get to the bottom without going through this whole policy, it's a lot that I can break this down. When I say break this whole policy down, and I can put it on the website for you guys to look at it, policehelpfinddaniel.com, so you guys can look at this policy, especially those who live in Arizona. If you happen to be in TNP, in Buckeye, you know what this policies are. And I'm telling you guys, these things are easy to pull up. You pull them up in the agency that's handling your loved one's case, and these policies are there. They are there. And so this is one of the things that Buckeye failed. And when they told me to wait that was time lost. What I'm saying is they was going against policy. And these are the things that they, of course, later will be held accountable for. But the point is those are the kind of the things that always hinders and hurt a missing loved one's case that we have in this country. So it's important that law enforcement get this right. It's important that they educate their officers or those who are in charge to know that what their policies are in terms, and that they don't go against these policies, because again, time lost. It's not like I think there's a show that's called The First 48 Hours, and they say, hey, look, we got to get the detectives are like, we got to get certain things done within those 48 hours, or the chances of understanding what happened in this case, diminish a great bit. And so that's the reason why the first 48 hours in a murder case, for instance, is important and crucial. And the difference is between that and a missing loved one case is that a person lying on the ground dead is right there on that spot. That spot is not going anywhere, right? Now, people surrounding that issue may be going anywhere, but the evidence is sitting right there on the ground or wherever the person, deceased person is located. Missing person cases, there's no person. Witnesses are gone, so everything is moving. It's constantly moving. So we definitely have to get those things done really urgently, really quick. Those things need to be moving. So that's some of the difference when it comes to missing loved one cases and murder cases, for instance. Also, I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to put on the screen. Like I said, I'm going to jump to another part of this live, and that is to talk about. Let's see if I can put it up here. Talk about the location where Daniel went missing, and kind of just show. I'll see if you guys can get this right here, but show. So you guys can kind of understand from where Tempe is, where he had to drive from that morning to get to Buckeye to get to that well site. So let's see if I can get this up on the screen. There we go there. And if you guys have any problems seeing this, again, just let me know, and I will go. But anyway, this is area where Daniel went missing. And if you can see the dot here, this is supposedly the well site where Daniel went missing, and this is where his vehicle was found. Now, I will go, of course, zoom in real quick before I go out to Phoenix, show you guys where this location, these places are located. All this right here is a new project. You guys hear us talking about the new development and things like that. This wasn't here, of course, when Daniel went missing, but this is what it looks like now with the roads and things there, and they built some stuff there now. But he went missing at this well site. Now, the argument point for me would be, it will be this well site in some aspects, because if you do the 2 mile radius from, it used to be an entry point from Sunvale Parkway here, where Ken met my son in this area here. They travel along. It was a dirt road that traveled on 1 mile west, and then you go 2 miles north. That 2 miles wouldn't be to this well site. The 2 miles would be here if you measure it. And so it's a well site there too. And that's why I say sometimes I really feel that they misled me, saying that the well site was here. And this well site is a lot different now because they built over it now. And this one right here. And you guys probably remember I had at that well site, I had a issue that it took me a while to get law enforcement to actually go there. I had to get someone to accompany myself to go in and go into this well. The Buckeye Police Department, it took me hell with them to get them to go out on a weekday and go in it themselves. But when they did it, they utilized the thing called Maricopa County Posse guys, right? And they took a non-submergible camera into this well, and that camera barely touched the surface of water, and they was freaking out about the camera getting wet. They wanted me to accept that. They put a camera down in this well because they wanted to make sure Daniel wasn't put down in that well because it's wide enough for a person to be thrown in there. And I didn't know how many feet it was, but that hindsight, that when I went in, that well is like 1,000 feet deep, and so, or close to it. And so they touched the surface of the water, and they made it all the way down to the surface of the water, and then they pull their camera back out and say, nothing to see here, nothing, Dane's not there, basically, right? And so that was unacceptable to me, and I definitely didn't want to keep putting off into the public like somehow they thinking I'm anti-police or something because I'm pointing out things. So I gave them a little praise about them going out to do that. They did not do the well site here, where they even say the story with Ken saying this was the well that Daniel went missing. They didn't even check that well, but they checked this one, like I say, touched the surface. I didn't like what happened, so I got my own company in there to actually use submersible cameras, go down as well. But this is the area where you guys probably remember when I found all that stuff in the defense post, the dirt, the this and that, like somebody covering something up, things that was down in there that shouldn't be in there. The expert who actually was doing that never saw that in his years of working with the wells and doing things what he does. Somebody, even he was, and then we also saw something that like the top of a human skull that I sent out to those from, I think it was ASU, Arizona State University, as well as I believe it was one in Missouri, to look at some of these pathologists and some of these people to look at what I seen on this camera. And they was also concerned. They felt the FBI should be into it. And then later, because of the pressure, Buckeye went into again with the submersible camera sometime later, some months later. And they put out what I call pocket change. Like all the other stuff that was in there, they didn't show that on the camera. They just showed this little couple of nuts and bolts and say, oh, we didn't find anything in the well. which I wanted, and they did it behind my back in a way. To make a long story, I don't want to go too deep into because it's going off subject what I want to go at tonight. But what I'm saying is this is the well site, I believe. But, you know, of course, we have to go by what was given to me at the time. And so we're going to go with this, saying this other well site is where Daniel went missing, right? But in relations to the well site and where in Sonoran Desert and to where Daniel lived, we got to go down here to the interstate here. Oh, I think I went out too far. Sorry. I-10. Go I-10 here, and you have Tempe here. So Daniel lived in this city here called Tempe. It's outside of Phoenix. And, you know, of course, coming out of Tempe is a more of a college town. So there's people around Daniel's age. He wanted to live there. He moved out of Phoenix to live there. You know, people, his peers, his age group. And so he had to go out west. He had to take Tempe, get on I-10 and go out west through Phoenix, through Avondale and some of the other Tolleson and Goodyear and all these places. And we do have, you know, of course, everybody know about Verrado Way, the first well site. See if I can find it on the map real quick. It's right here in Buckeye. Well, the road anyway. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it really quickly because I wasn't planning this tonight on the first well site. But it was in the Buckeye. All of this is the Buckeye area here. You guys, in case anybody have any question on that. So I'm looking for a certain road. There we go. So he had to get off on this exit here to get into this area where the gas station is. I think it's right up in this area somewhere. But nevertheless, he had to leave that first well site, get back on I-10, or he could have took a back way, but took back at I-10 to go up to Sun Valley Parkway. That's Miller Road here. You have, let's see, where is it? Coming out 10, go out west, and he would be, let's see, Sun Valley Parkway would come up. I don't want to miss that. Let me get out a little bit so I can see it better. All right. So make sure I get my orientation right. And yes, this will be Sun Valley Parkway here. And let's see, get in there so you guys can see that. Yeah, right off the interstate here, you get off here to get off on Sun Valley Parkway. Now we have some discussion about how Daniel got into that area. Some say he could have took a back way to get to this point. Let's see if I can. This is a little area too, where there's a little housing development. So if you come off the interstate, you do have a little community here, but everything else turned to desert, right? And again, there has some. We'll say he went through this road here that goes out into little paths and stuff that gets up to this point, right? And then others, of course, with Ken's story would say he actually was at this point where the near where this development just been built, like I told you guys before. So from there, the story is that Daniel traveled. Let's see if I can get even closer again. He traveled south on his well site, right? He came out of the well site, like I told you guys on the video. He had to drive this short little distance, so Ken had to be standing here and see Daniel. He probably couldn't see Daniel once he get past a certain point here, but once he got down to this road that they came in on, I wouldn't like to call them road because they really just dirt trails. And he going down the dirt trail here. Of course, it don't look like this back then, but the dirt trail goes right down south. And then if you remember what I told you, how the T-junction was here, you came off Sun Valley Parkway, it was going straight down here, and it would meet this road here. So they kind of came, it's at T-junction. They call it T-junction because when it comes down, this little path here, it used to be a path, it goes straight to this point, and then go out towards west. Oh, let's see if I can get this right. Go out past this point, somewhere up in here, it kind of curves back down to connect with this little thing right here that say West Cactus Road here. It connects with this point here. So when it connect, well, actually right here, connect with this point here to get to this area here. So it's like more like a T-junction, to make a long story, from back then when it was a trail. So Daniel had to come straight down this thing south. This trail is south, And then when he got to the T junction, according to him, he had somehow had to get confused that he should have went right, back left, and he would have been back here to Sun Valley Parkway. Then he could have traveled on back here. And of course, like I told you, Daniel don't live in Phoenix, so but Ken said he wanted to go back to Phoenix to rest or something to that effect. But he lived in Tempe. He would have had to come back up here to Sun Valley Parkway and then go back down south to get back to the interstate. But instead, he's saying that his trail tracks that he saw went west. So like I told you, this road actually when it curved down in here somewhere, it met with this road here going west, but he had to go west just a little small portion before you see how it curves down. It curves back south. It don't actually keep going out west. It comes out south. He somewhere around this point here, because everything looked different. I can't really negotiate it really well. But right in this point here, let's see if anything right up in here, I could say there was a fence there. It's like a half wood and most metal, but had some wooden structures there with the fence. So Danny would have had to look at the fence and say, wait a minute, I don't remember this metal fence having wood on it. And then he had to actually get out the vehicle and unlock it just to keep going south. So once he got out of the vehicle, he kept going south according to Ken following his tracks, right? And then when he got here to this area, he would have had to come into this open area. Like Ken said, he came to an open area to look for Daniel. Then he said he climbed on these hills here. There's hills all around, hills, even hills on this side here. But this area right here is an area that I use a lot when I do my searches, of course. We call it the quarry area because it's a lot of flat area. And we actually have people park their cars about right here. I mean, it's a big open area. You can actually park a lot of cars there, right? And so so that means that for Dan to get here, he had to go up the trail, travel up here, all this terrain. This is like a heavy terrain, in and out, dipping in and out, dipping in and out to get to this location here in the desert. But we have also something we're going to show you. I have someone that I'm working with right now. It's plausible too with the mileage that was on the vehicle to get to the mileage that we know that we all been talking about. He could have came back this way, took a trail. Let's see, once we came through the gate towards the center here. Okay, there we go. He could have came as he's coming south and then go back out, come back out to this trail to come south, and then start heading west and then come down the river itself. This area here is a big riverbed, a dry bed. Come down the river, travel down the river to get to this point. So he had to actually go down this way just to get there. And once he got down the river here, then he would have took not the river, but the Wagner Wash is the area here. He would have come down to Wagner Wash, and then when he got to this little dirt road, came in through the dirt road, and then come down to this point, and then drive up this way. And this is a real. When I say the point is hill, it's almost like it's real steep hill to try to climb just to get to this area where the vehicle. But then the crazy part with that would be the vehicle had been facing the other direction, not the direction it was facing. So there's a lot of ways of looking at this. But anyway, this is one of the stuff I want to show everybody what I'm going to be talking about going forward. Some orientations to some answers to the 11 additional miles, some answers to the initial cycles, to the time of the day that the first crash happened versus when the vehicle was cranked back up the second time, what caused the 4 to 6 initial cycles. All those things will be things that we'll talk about in coming forward in the next few weeks. So, but tonight, again, I just want to kind of give us a little brush of that. Also, you can find this map if you go to policehelpfinddaniel.com. This is the website, of course. Go to the website, and you see it under set the map, and that map will come up. You know, with that map again, you can see where we search, the search area. Let me see if I can put it back up here for everybody to know, so you can see our search area. Our search area is huge. This is our initial search area, and that was based on 11 additional miles and science and, you know, all that kind of stuff from during the time it's from the well site, and then when the vehicle showed up. we included, right? And then we added this this grid. That's how we was able to break things down in grids. We had grid numbers, so we'll say, hey, for instance, we're going to show search 1941 this time. We're going to 1841 this time. Oh, this time we're going to hit 1739. You know, so we break it down into little areas, and that's the reason why it took so long to do these searches. We actually was doing these searches. Also, this is in 2022. Places that we didn't get to search, and the crazy part is, I think this area is one of the areas that still need to search, but definitely this area here need to be searched. Where I want to get foot searches on. Again, it's hard to get people over the Hansappa River bed, because it's, you know, unless you have a specialized vehicle like a desert vehicle, can't get enough people over there. And again, this is some of the areas that we already searched, which is now some of these areas you see here, we have searched those. Some that still need to be done. The hasty searches that being completed. So we've been doing a whole lot of searching in this area with Daniel with Mrs. So, and like I said, this is not the updated map. So a lot of times, some of the things like I did on April the 12th this year, it won't be reflective on this map. So again, that's the thing you got to look at too. But back to the website real quick, please, everybody, sign the petition still. Donation still there. I need your help in every capacity. Request the flyers. You can print out flyers. And also, if you go down on the screen here, the mail-in protest, very important. Again, I talk about this every time, you know, to keep Daniel's story fresh, keep law enforcement working on Daniel's case. Definitely don't want, you know, to give them shade and room to say, look, we just done with Daniel's case. So again, I need you guys' support, trying to build up Daniel's platform back up to make sure that we're not, you know, a lot of people out there don't think, oh, well, his father moved on and we moved on. No, we have not. I haven't moved on. The only thing that happened, like I told you last week, is that I decided to run for Congress because, again, this is part of everything I've been doing from day one. I would never even ran for Congress, most likely, if my son didn't go missing. And the reason why I say that, and I don't want people in South Carolina to feel like somehow that's the only reason why I'm running for Congress. No, that pushed me to run for Congress because, see, you see Daniel's Law. You see the Daniel Robinson Foundation. All those things came from people like yourself who's been out there supporting me all those weeks in the desert. I have family members out there, have missing loved ones of their own. That inspired me to do something to help as many people as I can along the way. Just the sheer knowledge of how many people go missing every year, the pain that me and my family are going through with my son, that inspired me to do something. I couldn't no longer put my hand in my pockets and have some type of apathy in this, or just my son, you know, that's all I need to care about. It became something bigger, especially when I had to deal with telecommunication companies who refused to do certain things because of policies and this and that, and you know, and so that again pushed me to actually act and do something for everyone, right? So it's never been about me. Like I said, the foundation hadn't been about me. It hadn't been just for my family. The advocacy or the events that I've done, it was never about me. It's never about just my family and just Daniel. When I'm saying that, this run for Congress has never been about me or just my family. It's about everything. So everything I'm doing, everything I've done has always been about everyone else but me and my family in some aspects, you know. And so what I'm saying is, again, I need you guys' support to everything. Everything with this, the mail-in protest, very important. Signing the petitions, very important. Getting these flyers out, that's important. Sharing Daniel's story. If you got some tips, push out that tip line number, and I'm going to put that on the bottom of the screen to give people avenue to, you can share the tip line number. Tell them, look, use the tip line number, you know anything, or give it to tell people about it so they can, if somebody knows something, you know, it's on the flyer. So if you get the flyers out, that information on the flyer. Okay, for those who do know something and listen to me right now, 24 hours, 7 days a week, I pay for this service. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, live operator, take your call. You can be anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to anyone, you can still leave a tip. You can text the word tip to the same number here. Phone come up and you definitely can still leave a tip, and you can remain anonymous. So these are the things you can do to help me out when it comes to all things my son. And I think lastly, I want to share, before I jump off this live stream, I have to share one other thing with you guys, and I want to make sure I can get this up right. We're gonna go through these pictures real quick. Something I want to talk about. Again, my view, and this is gonna be some of the things that we talk about going forward when it comes to my son. So what I want to show here is first, everybody familiarized with this. When I show you the orientation on the map, and I say, you know, if that vehicle would have came from a different direction, came from west instead of east, it would have been facing a different direction. Now, I can tell you this picture here is, these pictures always have been deceiving. They are, this is a 20-foot drop in this ravine, right? So it's not like a really short drop. Let me see if I can get this picture a little bigger for you guys. There we go. It's not a flat land. It looks kind of flat here. It's a drop, right? So, but it's not so deep in there that you wouldn't be able to see it from aerial footage, or you would not be able to see it if you're standing on that hill up there, or from the other hill on the other side. Again, you definitely would see it if you're in a helicopter, as law enforcement try to claim. So it's not hidden by any stretch. But if you can see here, this is where Daniel's clothes were, 3 feet away from the vehicle, right? I would go back real quick so you can see it a little better. But the pants is pulled inside out. Everything from underwear to socks lying in the spot. Sock here, but one missing. We have the boot here. You have the safety vest here. And I'll show you in a minute, the other boot is tucked under this vehicle, stuck up under the vehicle. Now, what my investigator said again, a couple things. He believed the vehicle traveled this point up on this ridge, or if it came in from this point. When I say travel, meaning that, in my opinion, and in his opinion, or from his investigation, from the evidence of the investigation, the vehicle staged here, right? It was put there, but it came from this direction. So when it came down this hill, it came down on the direction and it missed the stump here. This is a cactus that, when I talked to the rancher, he says it was in the desert. He's a desert guy. When it's like that, it most likely got struck by lightning. It probably was on fire at one point. And so I don't know if y'all know those cactus that you see on TV. I don't know the name of them, but they kind of look like I guess a football goal or something, goal or whatever, something similar to that. But anyway, they're really, really huge. But anyway, it's burnt down to that. And so low, the vehicle came down this part here. When it came down to rest here, it is tilted over to its side. And there was an argument with law enforcement that they say, oh, they flipped and rolled. And you look at their investigator that they hired, saying they flipped and rolled himself, but he judged this off of pictures. And so you see the damage here on the front, you'll see no damage on the side. So what I'm going to show you is, let's see here, if I can go back, I'll go back too far. Yeah, there's a couple of pictures I want to go back. I want to go back real quick and without going back too far, because one thing I don't want to put up just yet, saving that for, there we go. That's the one of the boot that was stuck up under the vehicle, and also this panel here is come out of the sunroof. This is a panel here, and that's a second panel. And the way you get these panels out is you have to use a key that's located in the trunk of the back of the vehicle. And if you look at this, if the vehicle flipped and rolled, and like law enforcement was saying, there would have been damage on the roof part here. There would have been damage to the antenna, by no doubt about that. And also the back of the vehicle, XYZ. There's nothing. And the only window that's broken out in this vehicle, only one window broken out, is this one right here on the driver's side. Now, the only problem also with this window being broken out on the side is there's some glass on the ground. I don't know if I got it in this picture. If I can go back. I don't want to go too far with this, but we'll talk about some of the stuff that's inside. So you guys see me moving kind of fast. There's a lot of pictures here. Let's see. I may be going too far back, but we have a lot of pictures here. But yeah, you can see here this is a better shot of the clothing here. And I'm probably gonna lose. Yeah, I think that's where I need to stop. If I can find this picture, I kind of pretty much want to show you guys. But until then, I guess I can talk about some other stuff. But until then, we're gonna talk about the hard hat. We're gonna talk about the, like I said, the damage. I'm trying to find a spot there, and I will find a picture. But anyway, until we get to that point, the damage my investigator found wasn't something that came from that terrain. That was from close examining, but their investigator saying that, oh yeah, flip and roll and all this kind of stuff. I guess it matches the story that Buckeye wanted to tell me before they hired that private investigator, and before they even, this investigator have never seen Daniel's vehicle in his life, right? And he's judging everything off of pictures that you guys see here. The same pictures you guys see here is the same pictures that his investigator have. And when I say the Buckeye Police Department investigator have. And made a judgment off something he have never seen, right? And so I bring that up too because of the red transfer paint. You don't see the red transfer paint in these pictures, but there's some on the line on the passenger side that's on the ground. The other part is, again, the glass that you can see here. It was told to me that the glass came from that broken out glass on the well, actually, law enforcement said at first it came from the sunroof. That's what they told me first. When they first told me the vehicle was found, and they showed me the picture, he pointed out the glass, Detective Biffin pointed the glass on the picture and said, you see the glass here? That is from the sunroof. But hindsight now, I know that Jeep Renegades do not have glass in its sunroof. He didn't mention anything about the glass being broken out in the door. The other part is this it's hard to tell where this glass came from because when I on this picture don't do any justice. When you go look at it in real time, when I first visited the scene for the first time, I have been to the scene. The glass is there, but the appearance it is to me, it don't look like the same glass that would come out from a door glass from a vehicle. It's like a different kind of glass. It was shaped in a square way. But it almost was like somebody took it and been crushing it. Hit something, bang, 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 with a hammer or whatever to kind of crush it around. Because what puzzles me is I don't think anybody, if you had any kind of seen an accident in your neighborhood, you happen to be riding through an intersection, you've seen cars that came in collision with each other, and the glass got broken out. And I have never ever seen glass that actually miss all these places around here. You don't see no scattered glass nowhere else. I mean, I've been on the scene, you guys. It all concentrated right here. Somehow it magically came out that, if you want to believe law enforcement, it came out that door and just landed perfectly here. If you get what I'm saying, without being splattered all over the place, right? You won't find the glass anywhere else. But anyway, that was always strange to me. The other part is when you look at this the scene, the rancher had pointed out some things. I talked about this before. If I can I want to get a picture where the vehicle is actually lying over this ravine so you guys can see it. The angle I want right here. And then I'm gonna go back and talk about some other stuff too. But yeah, here we go. The daylight between the vehicle. When the rancher kind of point out to us about the daylight between the vehicle itself. If you look under here, this is not but daylight. This is a ravine, right? And a ravine is nothing but what we call it when I was kids. We call it a ditch or something. But ravine is like the curvature. When it comes down the hill, it comes like a V shape in a sense. So that's where the water travels. So anytime it rains the way that they want to say it rain and they fill up a hard hat, for instance. A lot of water would have been coming through there, right? And it all dumps down into the Hassayampa River, the Wagner Wash, Hassayampa River, going south. Water runs south, right? And so so coming through this area, we would have seen on this vehicle. Let me see if I can go. I wish I was on. I had a picture where it's coming from the other side too. See if I can find it from the top, this side of the vehicle. All right, let's see. This picture's all over the place, you guys. It's not in one order, so I have to kind of fish around for what I'm looking for. But there was daylight between the ground and, let's see, I don't want to go too far. Yeah, the ground and let's see here. I'll just go ahead and go what we got. It's some more picture. I have it somewhere else. And it's not probably not in the stack, but there's daylight between the ground and you know, if you can see here, the ground and the ravine itself. So water would have came through here, and there have never been a time where water didn't carry things, right? These creosote trees, the bushes or whatever, they kind of break off the little limbs and stuff. And I know y'all heard of tumbleweed and things like that in the desert. It's almost like that. It kind of formed these things. And so when water go through it, it'll try to go through this down this ravine. And I can tell you, with this vegetation that's sitting there, it would have been like a strainer, right? It would have strained the water. The water would have been flowing through there, but whatever's floating around in that water, it'll get stopped right there at this point. So the kind of rain they're claiming was happening, there's no rings here where no debris pressed up against the vehicle, where the water was actually being strained and stopped, right? And start collecting things. The other part that puzzled to me, and I'm telling you the way my mind works, you guys, is to me, I always look at common sense and science, right? I'm a science guy. That's all we are in my family. So one thing about this little sun visor, I think that's the thing you put in your window to keep the sun off your, and it'll sit here on the ground, water flowing through here, but it managed to be able to stay there, right? That's another indication for me. Again, let's see if I can go a different direction. Buckeye Police Department says that, let's see where I'm going before I go. Oh yeah, this is a better angle. You can see the glass. Like I said, you guys, again, with this glass, it's hard to believe that somehow the glass came from here and stayed right here in this one little spot, right? Without getting thrown around all over the place. And they want to say the vehicles, somehow this area was right here, I guess, I'm assuming. That's what they're trying to say, and then end up right there without damaging this roof, right? Without damaging the sides, you know, that type of deal, except for this side of the vehicle, of course, is lying on the ground. Somehow that happened. So the sciences don't add up. But like I said, again, here's the daylight. You don't see nothing getting caught up under there, coming from the other direction, just coming towards us south, that clouds up that area. So that was some of the things that stood out to me when I started examining these pictures myself. But the great part is, unlike their investigator, my investigator, he dealt with his vehicle, and physically touch the vehicle, physically measure things, whatever they do, physically look at the glass. Let me see if I can get the glass. I wish I could zoom in on this. Look at the impressions on the glass. The impression on this glass here, from my investigator standpoint, came from something object being used to hit that, right? And also on the side here as well. And so those are, he said impacts, because they go inward and on both sides. One here, one there. It's two impressions. One is kind of close up to the top here. The other part is, in that investigation, as you can tell, all the airbags deployed. You got the airbag deployed here. Of course, that's the steering wheel airbag, but this is a passenger side airbag. That's a rear airbag in the back, and then you can't see it except when you go inside. All the airbags deployed, right? And those airbag deployment usually are because someone is sitting in those seats, right? So that's some things that I want to consider that too. Let's see what else I'm missing for you guys. Let's see if I can get this back, and we can talk about one more thing, and then I'm jumping off here. Oh yeah, and the last thing was that the rancher pointed out a few things, and he's fourth generation cattle rancher in this area. How clean the vehicle is, right? The Buckeye Police Department says it's been out here for 30 days, And he pointed out that he see a lot of things out in the desert for a day, like one day. And this vehicle is too clean for him. There's no dust on the glass. This not dirty. No 30. This 30 days is this is like this picture here is almost 1 day clean, right? 30 days would have been covered with dirt. He says cattle would have came to the vehicle because the dirt is like salt, and they'd have been licking the vehicle. They would have been digging in it because there's some cases of water in there. It is a lot, right? A lot to go along with this. Again, and then the glass here, when it's broken out on the vehicle, there's not much glass, of course, inside the vehicle itself, right? So it's a lot to show with the scene. But the whole bottom line, I said again, guys, if this was a police cruiser lying on the side, the officer clothes are sitting up here in this top up here. His work boots was tucked under the vehicle. I mean, everything on this officer's body was taken off. His radio still in the car. His phone was still in the car. But he's nowhere to be found. There's nobody on God's green earth would tell me this wouldn't have been a crime scene for that officer, right? And I have been arguing from day one to treat it as such because of the information that was found about the vehicle that my investigator gave to them. And instead of them embracing it and working with that, they took it and said, no, we're going to hire a private investigator to dispute what you're saying. Try to dispute everything. The 11 additional miles to try to dispute. The initial cycles they wish they can dispute. And some of the other things. So, but this is what we have here when it comes in terms of the vehicle. So I'm not going to go too far any further. But I'm looking at the chat session real quick. Make sure you guys didn't have no question, but I'm going to jump off real quick because it's been an hour now. I didn't want to be on too long. But I'm going to do this every week, you guys. And what I'm going to do again, I'm going to have the content and talk about things like this. But I'm having a certain order so we can continue to go on with Dan's case. For those who haven't heard about Dan's case, to kind of go along with this and show people what happened on real time, especially from my perspective as a father with my boots on the ground. The things that I've been doing from the time Daniel went missing up to this point, and the reason why I feel that at the beginning law enforcement hadn't done much, and to give you evidence of that first of all. And then the other thing is to kind of dismiss some of the things they put in their report and show you guys when there's critics out there that will say Buckeye did such a great job, and I can then release some stuff to the public to show them why I say they haven't done such a great job, so people can really fully understand that. And it's like I said before in the last live I had, I keep receipts, and that's, I tell every family to do the same thing. Just keep receipts of everything you can. Receipts mean that write down everything. I mean, literally, you're talking to law enforcement, write down their name, what they said, have witnesses. So those things will come back to help. Always constantly get a FOIA request. Freedom of Information Act is something that we all can get information for whatever we can get from law enforcement. We get that and keep those things, the police reports, whatever you can get. And also, like I said, this is a timeline. There's somebody with level head because it's hard. It's hard to do all of this when you're emotional, but we got to get it done. All right. So I think I'm going to stop here on this live stream. Again, I'm going on the chats and looking at you guys, see if anybody had a type of questions or something they want to say. And from there, I would be going. And hello to you, Savannah. I just want to put you up there. I really appreciate you being here. Hello to you, and thank you so much. So can we still send the mail-in protest to Buckeye from Canada? Yes, I would say so, yes. You sure can. No problem with that. Definitely get some friends and family to do it as well. Because, Dan's case is not just a issue that people just in the United States is concerned about. Have a friend of mine, she was in the Netherlands at one point. She's in Switzerland now, fighting for Daniel's case and helping out as much as she could. There was people in Russia. There was people in Africa, different parts of Africa. Had people in, this everywhere, the UK, You know, so Daniel's story has been in a lot of places. And I'm telling you the crazy part of that though, and reason why I tell people all the time when it comes to flyers, they say, why you still sending flyers out? Because more people get aware about Daniel's case, the better things are for me finding him after all this time. I have people, like I say, in the UK that know about right here, you too, Savannah, in a sense, know about Daniel's case. And I go in Buckeye, right? I was at there April 10th, 12th, around that time, and I talked to some people in Arizona and never heard about Daniel's case, and they live in Arizona. I've been in Buckeye and talked to people, and they haven't heard of Daniel's case, and they're in Buckeye. So it's a lot of people in this country, there's a lot of people in the world, but to get the answers, of course, we need people here in the country to be aware about what's happening in Daniel's case, to know that he's missing, to help me out to get the information out, and some the more eyes we have out there, the more chances we can find something. So, you know, yeah, it's amazing. They have people, like I said, in the state there don't know about Daniel's case, but then, you know, elsewhere here in South Carolina, Daniel's born and raised, native here, family native here. A lot of people here in South Carolina just don't know about Daniel's case. They don't know about the 50 weeks of desert searches I have done out there. They don't know about the human remains that we found to bring close for families, and the discrepancy and the fight against law enforcement. We want to bring it down to 2, but they don't know about that. They don't know about the that I solved a case for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, right? They don't know about a lot of your cases. They just don't know a lot about this whole thing about Daniel. And I found that out, especially with running for Congress. I found out a lot of people just don't know about the grassroots part of this movement when it comes to looking for Daniel. So again, I'm telling you guys, I'm doing this again to try to make sure that I rebuild our grassroots movement. That's not only going to help me find Daniel, but still continue to do work to help other families out there, bring awareness. Again, I want to be able to have families back on this live streams, you know, those type things. And it's always going to be on Friday. Again, I designate Friday for all things Daniel, meaning that whether it's a Daniel Robinson Foundation, something for that, rather some event that I'm going to be talking about, Daniel, or bringing families, like I said, to talk about stories or have some type of event, some kind of like a visual. That's probably going, you know, coming up the 23rd will be another month. And sometimes I do the fast and prayer, for instance. Whatever it is, it's going to be on Fridays. I'm trying to make sure that's on the Friday. So I just need you guys' support. Continue to support me. That helps out a whole lot with everything I'm doing, because I'm a one-man band. You know, I don't have a whole team of people, and except for you guys' support, I don't have like a team of people to put content together. Well, I'm building that now. That's why I have the meetings on Fridays. But I don't have the bigger team, you know, of people doing a whole bunch of stuff. So it's a one-man show in a sense to try to do everything by myself mostly. So again, that's where we're at. Also, I have Miss Siren, Mrs. Siren, if I can say that right. Daniel's always in my heart, and I know many others too. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for your help and your positive energy. Also, Diamond Carter, thanks so much for being here. Well, yes, the vehicle itself, it's a stage event. Those are things, and we're gonna go back over there again. Like I told you guys on the live stream, if you come back, I would break it down a little deeper. Another gentleman and I will be coming back to talk about some other aspects of Daniel's case to show you something that just been missed. Of course, I have private investigator. He did a great job. When I say he did a great job, he got the information you guys see there on the, on the vehicle itself. So, he did a great job, but there's some things that we have to revisit and talk about again, because, I have some gentlemen who brought some things up to light, to my attention, that's very plausible. And when you guys hear it, you guys can say the same thing. So, and okay, this is a question, I guess, from Ms. Irene. Say what 30 days? Yeah, Again, it's the cleanest. And that rancher, he's pretty much an expert when it comes to things of the desert, because that's where he's at, right? So yeah, that's it. And I see you here, Keisha. Thanks so much for being here. You put a smile on my face to see you there. Thanks so much for all the work that you've done, and you continue to do and have done for Daniel for this whole entire thing. Again, I know I talk about it a lot. A lot of people don't know. They'll talk about the 50 weeks of desert searches that I was able to do out there for all those weeks in that desert with hundreds of volunteers in a given time. But there's also been weeks like you have done here. You have been out there and to the cities, the city searches, right? Well, the flyer distribution, not city search, but I had a city search that went on for a while, and then I felt I need to go ahead and do a flyer distribution. I didn't think nobody would show up, and people did. So Keisha, you was one of the ones that actually showed up, and so I really appreciate everybody who actually being out part of that flyer distribution that lasted for a long time. Was putting out thousands of flyers on cars, passing them out, you name it. So you've been out there with me in that city part, so that's why I'm bringing that up. Also, Ms. Carter, thank you again. Prayer, such a handsome young man. Yes, he is. I miss him dearly. I tell you what, Daniel is a very high-spirited person, very intelligent young man. He's oh wow, thank you so much for that. He's also, thank you, Justice. Thank you, YG. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for that super chat. I truly appreciate that. I have, Daniel have that spirit of bringing people together, and I miss our conversation. To make a long story that I have with my son, that 2 hours. I kind of tell people one time, we have that family dynamics where your children can be challenging at times. When Daniel, it's certain things that I just miss. I mean, the good and the bad, you could say, in a sense. Something that could aggravate you in a sense as a parent. I would love to have those moments again with Daniel, and just to definitely have those conversations with him, because he's definitely a person who's always asking questions, always, inspiring to do something greater, those type things. So I really enjoyed those moments with him. And hearing what he want to do and try to help him along with things he like to do. Thank you so much for your prayer, Nicole. Still praying for you with all the unmarked abandoned mines out there. Is that a theory? Always keeping my eyes open for anything unusual. Yes. And when I first went out in that desert, to piggyback on that, Nicole, that has, when I had to do the study first before I even started the search. I learned about the prospect mines. People don't know there's gold in this desert area. When I say gold, they was doing the gold rush days. They had the gold mines out there. That's where those mines you're talking about come from. And people's out there looking for gold, right? And there's gold out there, but I think it's not enough that you're gonna find anything significant, so people don't do it no more. But they left the mines out there. People out there from all over the place, all over the country, all the world, probably coming out there trying to find gold, digging these holes in the ground. Most of them are marked, and there's some that's not marked. And so the concern was that Daniel driving in the desert or walking the desert and fell in one of these mine shells, right? And the ones that you fall into, you guys seen the picture of the mine shells that I had to go in and search. But the ones that go straight down into the earth, that's the scary ones, because they go straight down. They're vertical, right? And they go straight down into the earth. So, and God knows how deep they are. So, and what's down there at the end of it. So, long story short, there's a lot of those out there in that desert and those areas. And they're usually marked when I'm understanding, they marked, but yeah, like you said, there's a lot of unmarked ones out there, the prospect mines. And I haven't ran into any of the vertical ones And the many days I traveled with that vehicle, and my concern was that somebody took an old board or something and cover something, or something wide and cover a mine up, and it's covered with dirt by now, and then you're just driving over and then you fall into a mine. I used to have those thoughts a lot of times when I'm out in the desert, but and I wonder, on many occasions, was that going to be the case, that we was going to find a mine and had to go get BLM to go down in Bureau of Land Management to go down in there to search a mine, for my son, and so I haven't found any. We found one, and this mine is in close proximity. And I want to take that back. I did find one vertical mine. Is in close proximity to where Daniel went missing. And when I say close proximity, it's walkable to get there, and it's also drivable to get there. So, I tried to get the Buckeye Police Department to search that, and they claimed they couldn't get to it. So the vehicle tires, the UTV or whatever. So it have never been searched. And so I do think about those things all the time. And see, thanks so much again. I really, really appreciate everybody for being here. I guess all I can say now to this point is just that, we're going to just continue on this journey, keep talking about Daniel's case. If you guys can help me do that, I really appreciate it. And I'm trying to think of anything else I need to get in touch before I go, but if anybody have any more questions, just do one more question. I'm probably going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to jump off just to say, at least I got some questions in. And if you guys come back next week, we can talk about that a little bit more. So if you got a question, put a question up on the screen right here now, and I'll just jump on it real quick, and then I'll jump off. I'll just wait on that one. Oh, thank you so much, Mary Ellen. Okay, I guess we didn't have any more. So any more questions? Oh, hold on. I got something here. Still praying for you, Nico. Okay, no, that's not a question. Okay. Oh yeah, I have a question here. Diamond, you said, I'll put on the screen here. How old was your son? 24. And it is hard. But anyway, yes, he was 24 at the time, and so it's been going on 5 years in June, so June 23rd. So it'll be a birthday coming up for him in January. So you probably see me do something for that, and we'll talk about those. But yes, thanks so much for your question. Any local rumors? Well, I hear a lot of rumors. I hear a lot of rumors out there, of course. A lot of things that take consideration. I can't say from my experience, people say, people, for example, I'm using an example. When I'm out there in the desert a lot with volunteers, we ran into people who do a lot of target practicing and things like that. So people out there use a lot of, desert people out there target practice, right? And Arizona being a gun state in a sense, open carry and all that. People like to go out in the desert and do that. But one thing that kind of stuck up to me is one area. One was east towards towards the White Tank Mountains, and then there was one area north of where Daniel went missing from the well site. And those areas that we didn't attempt to go to, because even law enforcement, from what I'm hearing, won't even go to, because the people in that little spot are so bad. Law enforcement don't mess with them, right? And I as a father, I'll be honest with, just like when law enforcement, Buckeye told me not to go up on Pride Rock. Well, we call it Pride Rock now, but it wasn't called at the time. They didn't call it that. Because a mountain lion lived there. A mountain lion lived there, and a mountain lion is up there. As soon as they said that, I told the team that I was with at the time, my desert team, that's where I'm going, because this mountain lion somehow grabbed my son, according to what Buckeye said, some wild animal got him. I'm going to find out, right? So I'll be honest with you guys. I have my AR and I have my sidearms, and I took, we went up there to make a long story. Went up there on that mountain, and we searched it. They claim it was a mountain lion den up there, and I didn't know lions really have dens, but anyway, we searched the area and we didn't find anything by foot, right? But of course, we need more people to do so. But what I had at the time is what I can go with. But anyway, go back to the question. The rumors were that those people are so bad that you just don't mess with them, and I kind of believe law enforcement on that. Or not just law enforcement. I believe the locals there. It wasn't law enforcement that told me that. It was the locals. Is the fact that when we're out there, I know what a 50 cal sound like because I utilize 50 cals when I'm a gunner for my unit when I was in the Army, and these guys utilize a big old 50 cal. They use a 50 cal. I know the sound, and so I wonder who would use a weapon like that out in the desert. So as I got closer to this community that claimed not to go to, because I was going towards it, and I hear that big gun, that made me turn around. And so, of course, yeah, that's what I used to hear. I heard about a lot of other rumors about whether it's aliens to you name it out there in that desert. So, yeah, there's all kind of rumors out there. If that's the question, if that's what you were asking. I also have a question here. Does the glass on the ground match the window glass? I don't know. My investigator says no. Well, did he say no? I can't remember, but I think he said no, if I remember correctly. I don't want to put the words in his mouth, but I know he said he don't believe it came from that glass, didn't come from that glass. So yes, I can't say that part because he did tell me that part, but if it was from there, how did it get there in that one spot? But the thing is, the glass matching, it was hard for me to know personally because, like I said, I haven't seen the vehicle but twice. I've seen the vehicle once. My investigator showed it to me when I went to the facility at the time where it's located. You go in the door, they put it in this little square box. I probably was a good 30 feet away from it or so. I can see it from a distance. So I never seen a vehicle close up except for one time was with Detective Biffin, which I was 3 feet away from the vehicle, up to the door of the vehicle when he pulled the airbags and for some reason trying to get me to open the door and go inside the vehicle. The only time I got close to it, so to actually see the glass and see if it matches the glass on the ground, no, I don't have nothing to say. I ain't gonna say it's not, but to me, it's hard to say a glass will come out of that window and the little glass you see on the ground versus how much glass that window should have, and then the amount of glass that's inside the vehicle, it don't make sense because little to no glass inside the vehicle either. Just little crumbles here and there. But other than that, it's really hard to say. We're the only tracks in the ravine, the ones from the Jeep entering it, and I to be honest with you, it was hard to even tell with this vehicle's tracks how it got down in that ravine, because we did see another, I won't say another set of tracks, but we see something that would appear to be a side track that wasn't going. Let me see if I can find that picture real quick. That wasn't in the same trail line. Okay, yeah, this is be an even better picture here too. But to go down in that ravine, we had to go look at the angle for this vehicle. It didn't go from this side here, but it had to come at this angle here, right? And so we started looking at the brush and see if anything was torn down, which we didn't find those, but I wish I had a better picture. It was a picture where we could see a track that comes across, but then at the same time, there's one that goes straight down. So the one that goes straight down is what we think was the vehicle. But then there's one that come at an angle, but it didn't go all the way down. It's another thing we look at. But if you look real close over here too, from this side of the ravine, and I don't know if it's law enforcement, but if you look at here, we can say, hey, look, this is a track of another vehicle coming down that way too. So I don't know. Just when I was on the scene there, I seen some tracks, but I don't know if it's from law enforcement when they came to pull that vehicle out there? Was it from, because when they pull it out, I know they pull it out from this side because we do see the dig in the ground. If I have better picture, you can see where it actually dig down into the ground. I guess the tow truck or whatever they did use to pull it out of there, that type of deal. But other than that, I'm not sure. All right, see you there, Keisha. Yes, that was okay. Thank you. Yes, that is what I was hitting on. Okay, thanks so much. All right. And then I have your clothes don't come off from a car crash. Well, Diamond, what law enforcement said is, and I'm gonna tell you the story they told me was first of all, law enforcement, like I told you last week, here I am, a father, started my searches. I think I was well into I want to say probably like the 8th search, probably. It's probably been at least 3, 4, I'll say about 6 weeks, 5, 6, somewhere around there. But anyway, it's a good number of search. I've been searching out there. And that's included during the time when I first started searching. Of course, I had what I call a public search, and that was always on Saturdays. And then also I had weekday searches. Some people could come out on weekdays. Some people just can't because they have jobs. That's why I came up to Saturday search every week. But we used to come out there doing the weekdays too, right? And with people that wanted to join in on search. Now I'm on the ground, like I said, as a father, desperately looking for my son. To me, it was a rescue mission because of what we was talking about earlier, the mines, the vertical mines that's possibly out there, looking for mines. We were doing all kind of stuff. And law enforcement knew about this because I invited them to the search. They didn't come out, needed the help. So they know we're out there every week. They know we're out there on the weekdays. They know we're out there on the weekend. As I was really trying to push it through the news, local news at the time. So it was no question. Talked straight to Detective Biff in that time because we had a relationship where we talked. And he knew us out there in the desert. So when the vehicle showed up in this right here in this ravine, the rancher who found it said that Buckeye, when they showed on the scene, the first thing they told him, do not alert the public that this vehicle is here and do not tell the family that this vehicle is here. Now, I'm the father looking for my son. I need to know immediately that the vehicle was there. But they, for some reason, felt that it wasn't a need to know for me, right? And so they waited over 24 hours and told me. And once the vehicle, like I said, I got on scene, once I got to the police department, they want to explain what happened on the scene. He said the vehicle on the picture, it wasn't this picture, it was another picture. The vehicle flipped the road, landed on the side. Good part, in their opinion, that he didn't suffer any injuries, they say, because he had a seatbelt on, right? And they could tell how the seatbelt locks when you get in an accident, it locks in place and something to that effect. But then he said, the same breath, said, well, we also feel that your son suffered a severe head injury, right? Brain injury, right? And that he kicked his way out of the sunroof. That's why the glass is on the ground. He kicked his way out of the sunroof. Once he got inside the vehicle, because of his head injury, he thought he was hot. He started feeling hot. Head injuries make you feel hot. You start feeling like you're burning up. So that's the reason why he took his clothes off, and that's the reason why he's sitting there 3 feet away from the vehicle, because I have to put the picture up so you guys can get a visual of this. And we're going to talk about all the stuff inside the vehicle because I talked about it before. So I'm skipping over it, but we're going to go into details about that. I didn't want to put certain things on the thing, but anyway, 3 feet away from the vehicle, that's where his clothes is. But on the other picture, it didn't show so much detail, but it's going to be 3 feet away from this vehicle. And that's why you see the clothes there, that's what he said. And he said, then he asked me, he said, do your son wear boxers of briefs, right? And I looked at him, I say, well, how would I know this? My son is a grown man. How would I know if my son wear boxers of briefs, right? But he said, well, everything on his body was lying on the ground, right? And then he said, he basically, to answer your question, he said he took it off because he had a brain injury and he thought it was hot. So it goes on in details from that point. And thanks so much for your prayers, Diamond. I really appreciate that. And I think that would be the end of it, because I will keep going, because I'll get deep into the questions and keep going further. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Again, like I said, I will hopefully have better content to talk about this story. When I say content, I'll have a better order of things. I'm still getting back into the swing of it again. But I will be doing this, like I say, every week. Deep dive into Daniel's case. Deep dive into things that's already been out there for those who's been hearing this stuff before. Thanks so much for bearing here with us. But I still need to bring awareness to Daniel's case to those who don't know about Daniel's case. I'm a suspecting diamond. You don't know a lot about his case. For instance, I'm using an example. Need to hear about my son's case and need to hear about the details, so people can just be informed, so they can just know why I need all the help I need to get answers. Why I feel like law enforcement could do more. And then also lastly, I was also be talking about where we are today and the struggles I'm having with law enforcement today. As a matter of fact, you guys, I will probably have more to talk about that too, because I'm planning to call Buckeye, get back in touch with them again. Like I told you last week, they haven't again kept some promises that was given to me when I was there in Arizona in April. And so hopefully they did by now. Hopefully they watch the live stream like they say they used to, and they hear my concerns. And what I'm trying to do, and I've been hesitant of it, is really trying to make it so big to point out what they haven't done. Because again, I never want to come off like I'm some type of anti-police or anything, but I'm anti-laziness. I'm anti anything for any family, but especially for my own son. I'm going to point out some of these things. If they're not going to do the work, I'm going to point out to them and force them to do the work. And the only way I can force them to do that, if you guys, like I say, sign that petition, because I always use it, and it works for me every time. Mail-in protests. Please send those mail-in protests. If you're from Canada, no matter where you're from, send those I call them picket signs. They are picket signs. You can send them in. It keeps them to say, hey, we still got people out there care about this Daniel Robinson. They ain't letting it go. And they keep them on the job, because trust me, I'm going to be doing my part as a father, putting pressure on them. And also that flyers. Get those flyers out there. You can, I tell you guys, it's very expensive. So when I ask you guys and you say you want to print them out yourself, I say thank you for your donation, because I know how much it costs to print stuff, right? So if you're doing it that way, thank you so much. But if you don't want to do that way, please request these flyers, and we'll get them out there to you. And because I definitely still need those flyers flowing out there. Like I said, I'm almost a one-man show, and it's hard for me to try to run for Congress, try to work on a foundation, what I was working on, but I can talk about that some other time, and also do everything else I'm doing simultaneously, right? And it's a lot. So trying to stay on juggle all of that at one time is very difficult. But to have people like yourself to support and push this along, it makes some of that a lot easier, So again, thanks so much, everyone. Peace and blessings to you too. And I guess we'll see you next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 5:30 if you're out in West Coast, I believe. Is it 2 hours or 3 hours now? But if you're in Arizona, I know it's 2 hours. You're 2 hours behind now. So it'd be 6:30 for you. And so I think California should be like 5:30 p.m. and Arizona at 6:30 p.m. and then here in South Carolina, it's 8 on the East Coast. It'd be 8:30 p.m. So, all right, see y'all then. Thanks so much again. God bless you. Take care of yourselves.